Welcome to tonight's podcast. This Thursday night edition or Wednesday edition of the Klown podcast. I don't know what night it is anymore. I'm Scott Burks, book host of Wayne Nash. Please check him out on the Yards at HBCU Sports, about all things HBCU sports, as well as Sleazy Radio every Tuesday on Facebook Live. Check him, the coach, and Sweet Lou out. You'd be glad you did. And also HeroSports.com, where we rest about all things FCS athletics as it pertains to HBCUs. You see my website here. This is my sports blog. Go to www.theklowntimes.net. Find me on Facebook as well. So you're on laptop, desktop, smartphone, wherever you may be, you'll find me there as well. And last but not least, speaking of which, check out the merch.
Get that merch.
CafePress.com, search for the Klown Time Sports. You'll find this link as well as the Wayne's links in the description like we upload this to Facebook, actually YouTube tomorrow, so you find it there as well. And also, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We began a lot of love. Janita, you don't know this, but we're over 300 followers. I rebooted it middle of last year, so it's been picking up steam. So I celebrate small victories. So hey, it's all good with me. So anyway,
well done.
I know, right? It's about that time. But anyway, let's check this out there. And speaking of which, y'all know her from Real Tennis Fans podcast on YouTube. It's been a while since I repped the sister. She covers all things tennis. She brings the heat. She's petty as hell. We love her. One and only Janina Reed is back in the house. What's up, sis?
I mean, I don't know that I want to be introduced as petty, but hello.
Oh, come on now. You know you are the petty. But anyway, so you on YouTube. So how often, please tell the viewers, once again, how often do you guys record or whatnot?
So, now that we kind of sometimes every other day feel like we're nearing the end of the pandemic, we're trying to get back on a regular schedule because we really haven't been doing too much, honestly, throughout the last year. We actually only put out our first podcast of the year a couple weeks ago. So we're trying to get back on a regular schedule, at least hit all the major tournaments. But, no shade to you guys, but for us, it just feels a little weird talking about sports when we're in the middle of a pandemic. I know for some people it's an outlet. For some, we feel a little bit guilty. And we're like, yeah, I don't know if I really want to do this. So we're trying to get back in the groove of it. So right now, we honestly don't have much of a schedule, but you can find us anywhere that you can find podcasts. There's plenty of stuff to listen to catch up with.
Well, there you go. And speaking of stuff to keep up with, let's talk Australia Open tennis. It's going on. It started this week, obviously. Before we get to the tennis itself, let's talk about your boy. Let's talk about your favorite whipping boy, Novak Djokovic. For those of you unfamiliar with this, she has a very special relationship with Novak Djokovic, to say the very least, right? But anyway, this Bama, as the Wayne would say, is back in the news. Basically, long story short, unless you're living under a rock,
my God,
this fool was denied a chance to play for a 10th Australia Open title. He's the defending champ, by the way, because the country denied him entry and canceled his visa because he failed to meet the requirements for an exemption to COVID-19 status rules, vaccination rules. So what does that mean, folks? It means this. Every country has a set of vaccine, like COVID protocols. You got to make them. You got to meet those protocols if you want to sit your ass in that country. Let's tell you this right quick. Over Christmas break, we went to Maui. And even though the Hawaii is part of the United States, they have COVID regulations too because they're not part of the contiguous 40.
Under the United States, yeah.
Right. The contiguous 48. So they rely on exports, everything. So everybody comes from planes, or maybe both of their old school. But the point is that they all have protocols. To get in Hawaii, you got to meet their protocols. Or else your ass is to one of two things: sit in the airport, or sit your ass back home. It's the way it is. Other countries around the world follow the same thing. So this fool thought he could circumvent. I'm just guessing. But anytime people do not meet the vaccination rules, it leads me to believe they're trying to skirt it some way, somehow. And I think it was unvaccinated for a while. I don't know if he just got vaccinated or whatever.
He is not vaccinated.
No, he's not
Oh, he's
vaccinated.
still not vaccinated. Okay, so there you go. There you
But
go.
see, that's part of the story, though, Scott, is the fact that he claims he caught COVID, and that should have made him, what's that, immune compromised? Did I say that correctly?
Well, you got the antibodies, like you know,
The
you get
antibodies,
the antibodies.
yes.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother part of the story, though, Scott. And I know Janita most definitely wants to get into that part, too. Oh, my God. I just sat back. Again, like you said, if you didn't hear about this, you had to have been under a rock.
It was on everywhere.
It was everywhere.
Major news.
Oh my
news,
God.
national news.
Everywhere I turned around,
Right.
it was
World
on. I saw it on Good Morning America. I saw it on BET News, MTV News.
Oh, I mean, BET.
I was like, my God, why is BET talking? Okay, I'm being hyperbolic, but still, it was everywhere, and it was insane.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So
Like,
basically,
y'all
go ahead.
talking about this dude like he's Nelson Mandela or something. Like he was going for political asylum. No, he's playing tennis.
Yeah.
And he's in the wrong, but I digress.
Yeah. So he won't get, so it's not likely now. I think it's pretty much almost a done deal because the tournament's already started. So
Oh, he's not playing.
yeah,
He's
not
been deported.
Yeah, so there you go. So he's not defending his title. So Janita, I've been thinking of you this entire week when that news came out. So you know what? I'm gonna sit back. I got my water. I should have had some alcohol. I got some bourbon on the side there, but I don't feel like walking. But the floor is yours, sis. I gotta hear what you guys say about this motherfucker because this is
all right.
I don't know.
Yes, that is right. This motherfucker. That is absolutely correct. You know, if you know me even a little bit, I have called him for years the Serbian devil. And the Serbian devil showed all his ass and horns this last couple weeks. So just for a little bit of context.
Yes.
Back in October of 2021, Australia said, you must be vaccinated,
right,
or you're going to come into the country and you're going to have a strict 14-day quarantine. Right. Okay. But you had to be double vaxxed. It wasn't like, oh, you could have one dose and come or whatever. It was very clear that you had to be vaccinated. Right. So this is October. But you know what? Even before that, let's back up even a little bit more. Novak Djokovic has from the beginning said he's not going to get this vaccination. He is a voice that the anti-vaxxers like to use because, oh, well, Novak's not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Mm-hmm. I need you to also understand that he believes he can, you know, play tennis through telekinesis and that he was diagnosed with, what is it where you can't eat bread? What is that?
Gluten-free or whatever?
He's glucose. Yeah, he had to eat gluten-free because he went to like some fucking quack doctor and literally put bread on his stomach, literally just sat it on his belly and asked him how he felt. And he felt this inside energy. And that's how he knew for sure that he was gluten-free. I'm not making it. You can't make this shit up. Okay. So I need you to understand that Novak is a little bit weird.
Okay, look at the way.
Fucking weird.
You gotta. What?
True story. True story.
Oh,
okay. Shit. So Australia says, you know what? If you're not double vaccinated, you're not coming. Basically, that happens. And then there was a possibility that you could get a medical exemption.
Okay.
But Novak. I mean, I know we don't have 25 hours to talk about this, but I'm going to say that I firmly believe, and so does my team, that he was in cahoots with Tennis Australia because he kind of got some information that a lay person really wouldn't even be able to interpret properly. Like there were documents already in place, and then at certain times along the way, little pieces of it were changed, the wording was changed, and most people just wouldn't catch up on that. So ultimately what he did was somehow miraculously get COVID. Wait, I'll tell you, I got a timeline because we broke.
I'm sorry, while you're looking for that, I just looked up the bread test for Djokovic. My God.
Did you not trust me? Come on.
No, I trusted you, but I wanted to see more details. And you kind of condensed it. You didn't say that, oh my, he did it during the Davis Cup, and oh my God. Look it up, please.
Wow.
Djokovic
During the tournament. Damn.
Yes, it was during the Davis Cup. Please, oh my God, people, look it up. This is hilarious.
It is. It's really kind of sad, right?
Oh my God.
So,
My head
anyways.
Maybe I should put bread on it.
Oh, man.
So Novak decides that his way into Australia really is to get COVID, because he thinks that the wording has changed, and it says if you have been infected with COVID-19 within, I think it was 6 months, and as a result of that, getting the vaccine was going to cause basically some kind of extraneous thing to happen to your body. If you got super, super sick from COVID and getting the vaccine wouldn't be ideal for you, then you could get a medical exemption. Well, let it be known that Novak got COVID, visited a children's hospital, did a photo shoot, and went to Spain and did all of these things knowing that he was supposedly positive, which makes me question is whether or not he was actually positive. Did he just have a manufactured test? His claim really was that he took two rapid tests that were negative, decided to play it safe and get a PCR test, which we know is more sensitive to the virus, and that he didn't get his results right away. Now in Serbia, the results are automated, and you get a text message and an email as soon as they're available. And you better believe that Novak Djokovic got his immediately, which he did. It's been verified. But now he's kind of playing the Maria Sharapova, I didn't click the link thing, saying that he didn't know until the next day. But even if that is true, there is a mandatory quarantine time in Serbia if you are positive, which he also violated. So we just have this big long string of things that he didn't do properly once he found out that he was positive. And he gets his team of lawyers together, files for this medical exemption from the vaccination, and his ass heads off to Australia. Well, he's immediately detained and stripped of his visa. So then once again, his lawyers go to work and basically, uses all of his privilege as a world-class athlete and a white man, and he somehow manages to get a second hearing because they don't like what the initial ruling was and try to get this overturned. This motherfucker managed to have court held on a Sunday so that he could hit a goddamn ball. Now, mind you, he was held. And while he was being held, he asked for a personal chef. He asked for a tennis court to go practice on, and all of these special things. They were all denied. But who are you? He was being held in a building that have people who have been there for almost 10 years. But yet Novak Djokovic doesn't mention them, doesn't use his platform of privilege to make it known to the world that there are detainees in the same building as him for almost 10 years. But he, has to go play tennis and manages to get court held on a Sunday. Okay, whatever. So all of that happens. I did not watch the court proceedings or any of the stuff until it was the Sunday. I was like, yeah, I can't do it. So somebody else did that for me. Thank God, Pablo. But I did watch the stuff for Sunday when the decision was going to be made. This was the final straw, basically. We were going to know if he was going to get to play. We were going to know if there would be another appeals possible. And the judge, first of all, Novak's lawyers, if that was my attorney, they'd have been fucking fired. The judge asked the question at one point, and he says, basically, I don't need to cover that. But since you asked, I will. Who talks to a judge like that? Who says I don't need to answer your question? So as I'm listening,
a
it
rich
kind
privilege
of really,
dude. That's who. But go ahead.
It really felt like it wasn't going to go Novak's way. The attorney basically ripped the argument apart piece by piece that they tried for the reasons that he was trying to say that he should be allowed to stay were completely just fucking bullshit. Nothing added up. The timelines didn't add up. The testing dates really didn't add up. The quarantine times. And because, you know, he showed his ass and did all this, he's now being also investigated by Spain because he did travel to Spain, supposedly, while he was COVID positive. So he not only broke Spain's protocols, but he also broke Serbia's protocols. So everything happens. His attorneys present their bullshit case. I just, the only part that I really want to share, because we've already established that Novak is crazy. His attorneys, part of their argument was that if they do not let Novak play in this tournament, the viability of the future of the Australian Open is on the line, and they are putting their economic future at risk.
Wait, what?
Because you heard, that was part of their formal court argument. If you don't let him play, this may be the end of the Australian Open, you know. And so ultimately the court decided that he was a public nuisance, that because of him, so Australia has over 90% of their adult population vaccinated, one of the highest vaccination rates in the world.
Them in New Zealand, they do not play at all.
They shut everything down. They had some of the most barbaric measures. And then here you have this tennis player coming in going, I'm not going to fucking do any of it. And I'm going to come in and play. And they were like, yeah, no, you have, if we let you come in, we're basically sending the wrong message. People might riot, which is in turn going to cause a large gathering that we don't want, like, you know, all of these things. So he didn't get it. When the whole court hearing was finished and everybody wrapped up, Novak's people said, can we please have a response within 30 minutes? And I'm like, what about these people that have been detained for 9 years? What the fuck? And you're talking about give me 30 minutes. And the judge basically laughed. It was a panel of judges. And we're like, yeah, no, we're going to convene. We're going to talk and we'll be back. And tonight or maybe tomorrow, sit tight. So the ruling came out that he was not going to, his visa would not be reinstated. The biggest piece of that, because he took it through this appeals process, and because really he should have gotten on a plane and just went home, and then none of this would have happened. None of it. When he got there and his medical exemption didn't pass the test, the Litman's test, he should have left. But because he tried to push and go on, and he had his visa formally stripped not once but twice, he is now barred from Australia for 3 years. He is not allowed to get a visa for 3 years. So he's 34 years old.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is his most successful slam. He wanted this one bad because this is the slam that would have put him above Federer and Rafa. And now you're not going to play there for 3 years. And given how hard they came down, I'm sure that he will try to get that overturned so that he can go next year or whatever, but I don't see it happening. I didn't stay up for the verdict because, you know, Australia, they live in the fucking future. Like I can't
They're 15 hours ahead
around it. I can't do it. So I went to bed, and at like 3 o'clock, I turn my phone off every night. Do not disturb. You cannot get me. I forgot. About 3 a.m. Ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And I'm like, holy shit, they actually did it, because I really didn't think they would at the beginning. I thought, he's got all these people, Tennis Australia, Greg Tilley, who is the director of the Australian Open, like the big guy there, like everything seemed to be going his way and people are on his side. I mean, it was so messy. Do you know, can I just tell you too, that his legal team put in their formal argument as to why he should be allowed to stay an online poll that was published in a trash magazine? Should Novak Djokovic be allowed to play the Australian Open, yes or no? And they actually took a screenshot of it and presented it as though
they
that
really
had
did that in
merit.
court. Oh wow, that's some Mickey Mouse shit, man. That's some Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, they really did.
They're lawyers, right?
I mean,
they got law degrees. They did that.
Yes,
a screenshot.
Yeah, and apparently they're supposed to be very, very good. Very, very good.
You know what? See, and God, this is the Libra in me in defending a bunch of this stuff that you just said, right? So number one, you can't blame Djokovic for asking for the verdict to be given like in 30 minutes because no one else has done it. Hey, maybe y'all should have asked too. How about that?
Sure.
But I mean, yes, it makes him look like a jerk. But hey, maybe you should have done the same thing, right? But of course, we know how asinine that is.
Right.
Oh my God. Then okay, you go to the court of public opinion because they're the ones that's watching the tournament. And you want to try to prove to I guess the country that, hey, if I'm not in it, no one else is going to watch it. So why not listen to this poll? Again, as asinine as it is.
I got thoughts on that too. But
I mean, I would question my attorneys if they were to do something like that, but I can see where they're coming from. But it also lets you know how smart his attorneys are if I thought about this stuff. If you could, I'm just thinking about this,
like,
they're not too bright.
But we're talking about little bits and pieces, right? And honestly, I think that was there because they didn't have much to grasp on.
Right, yeah, that's obvious.
He actually, the first time that his visa was taken away and then kind of reinstated, it was a technicality. It wasn't because they actually thought that he should be there. What it came down to was he was detained when he got to the country and the people in Australia weren't awake yet. And he asked for 40 more minutes. Okay. And they said, yes, we'll give you that time. He said, can I have this amount of time so that I can make some phone calls and be able to talk to people? I'm not going to be able to reach them now because their day hasn't started yet. So the immigration person said yes. And then the immigration person came back and said, you know what? No, because you can't call and ask for help until your visa has been revoked. So it doesn't make sense for us to let you sit here just to let time pass when there's nothing that you can do about it anyways. Right. So he legally couldn't ask for help until that visa had been revoked, but they said he could have the time. Then they took the time away, and them taking that time away after they said yes is actually what got him that appeals hearing. The judge said, yes, you should have given him that time. You said that you were going to give it to him, and then you didn't, because those lawyers went hard on that. And it was true, even though it wouldn't have made any difference whatsoever. Right. So the initial process really was all just a technicality anyways. It wasn't that they said, yes, you can come, no, you can't, that got the appeal. It wasn't like that at all. But he was like, oh, I won. And here I am on the tennis court. I mean, it's been a fucking shit show. Tennis is never in the news for a good reason, ever. And then this, and I mean, like, fuck you, Novak. The Australian Open's not going to go on without you. It's been around for a long time. Right. It's going to be around for a long time. And your motherfucking ass is not the one that sells tickets. We've been over this over and over and over again. It's not you.
It's the women. It's the women mostly. I think it's the women.
It's Serena and it's Roger, and neither one of them are there.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the ones who put asses in seats day in and day out, tournament to tournament. That's who sells the tickets, and they're not there. And he knows this. He fucking knows it. He knows people don't like him. We don't like him.
But he wants to be loved. But the thing is that you have also people there like Naomi Osaka is there, and like a few others. But
sure.
I mean, but the thing is, to your point, Novak is not the end all be all. No one gives a shit. No one goes to see him. They go to see him lose, but they don't go to see him.
It would have been interesting had he got to play, because typically
Rafa Nadal's there. I mean, come on.
He is there. And Rafa, I was happy. He was like, listen, quit asking me about this.
Yeah.
Because they're asking every player, what do you think?
Of course.
What do you think?
Yeah.
But you know what? Listen, nobody, it's move on, like fucking get vaccinated, because his attorneys tried to say, well, he has the opportunity to get vaccinated. It's a choice that he can make. And the judge said, you know what, you're right. But let's be honest. There's plenty of stuff out there that he has put into the world, basically saying that he's against getting vaccinated for COVID-19. He said, and the vaccine's been out for over a year. If he was going to do it, he would have done it. So you don't get to come to me and say, he might still. I mean, it's just all complete bullshit. And really, just to bring it back around, what infuriates me more than anything is that he really could have turned this into something for the good of the people, because he tries so hard to present himself as a philanthropist and this doer of good. He could have brought to light that there are people, including children, who were in the same building being detained as him, who have not yet had a hearing, and they've been there for almost a decade. Why not use your money? You want a personal chef? Say, I want my chef to come in and I want to feed all of these people, not just me. You know, have your attorneys at least say, why was I able to get a hearing within hours, but there are all these people in here who can't be heard and they've been here for years? Like, that would have been a good moment. But no, the selfish fucking bastard just says me, 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 me. And these so-called tennis journalisms, I'm telling you what, I will be in a room with Novak Djokovic one day. And I don't care if it's next year, this year, 5 years from now, you better believe I'm going to ask him why he didn't do that. And any responsible journalist would do the same. But tennis is, they're all fucktards, most of them. And they're not going to ask. They're not going to ask because you don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to maybe lose your access. But, you know, this is what real journalism is all about. Right. Ask the tough questions. Put them on the damn spot. Yeah. But I highly doubt, no, you know, if someone does it, great, but I highly doubt it. All I saw throughout this was people who are, who have their foot in the door capitalized to get them on TV. Y'all saw people on CNN that you've never seen and who you've never known cover tennis, but they were all there because they're on the ground in Australia, and all these major news networks wanted somebody that knew something, because nobody covers this shit. Nobody, let's be real. You didn't know who Novak Djokovic was before they were trying to strip his visa, even though he's been the #1 player in the world for God only knows how long. The majority of the people don't know him. So it's just a fucking mess. Hey, but the guy that took his place was a lucky loser, and he did win his first round match, so that's good.
There you go. There's a God out there. But let me ask you this. You mentioned the detainees. I'm just curious. I'm assuming that they're for various reasons, but it's mostly due to immigration. Is it COVID, or do you have an idea why?
Well, it's immigration. I mean, you figure anybody that's been there for longer than 2 years, it can't possibly be COVID. So right, it's not even an option, right? So it's just, you know, whatever, for whatever reason we detain people, you know, we never talk about them. We've got them here in our country. Yeah, I don't know where they are. I don't know where they're being held. I don't know how long they've been there. Nobody's covering that story. So, you know, some ignorant white people, I'm sure, had the nerve to say that he was having like a Muhammad Ali moment or something. Like, no.
Please don't let me hear him say that out loud.
It's right. And, you know, on my podcast, we were just like, yeah, no black people said that. Shut that shit down. We're not talking about that here, because didn't one black person say that? Because if he was having that moment, he would have said, look at all these other people. Well, you know what? I'm going to make my point and take my ass home. And I'm going to bring light to what's really going on here. Yeah. Not, can I have a tennis court and a chef?
It's crazy. So, okay, so he has the visa stripped for 3 years from Australia. Yes. So cannot, at least for 3 years, cannot go back. He can't defend. Well, he can't defend it next year because someone else would have won it. So,
can I add one more thing before you go on? Can we remember the Naomi Osaka issue where she didn't want to do press, right?
Right.
Remember when she didn't want to do press? All 4 Grand Slams came down on her with a vengeance and basically said, you know what? If you're not going to talk to the press, we don't want you here. You can't come here. And Paris, where she was at the French Open, you know, they said the same thing. And she said, all right, I'm not going to play. And she left. But let us remember that every single Grand Slam came together to come down on her. This black woman. Right? They ain't said a fucking thing about Novak. After it was all said and done, the French Open is the next major coming up. Paris just put in, well, not Paris, but France put in a law that you have to be vaccinated to enter the country.
Mhm.
So that's going to exclude him. There's no exemption. So that will exclude him. But
I was going to ask that. Yeah, I was going to ask that question. Yeah.
where were they when all this was going on? Where were you? Why weren't you there with Tennis Australia saying, we don't want you here, and if you want to come here, you better get vaccinated?
Same with Wimbledon.
Nobody said a word.
Or
Nobody
US
said a
Open,
word.
for that matter. US Open, Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Where have they been?
I'm not really sure what the protocol is in England right now. I
Mhm.
believe you have to be vaccinated.
I think you do.
But I'm not 100% sure about that. But it's like he's jeopardizing his entire legacy over a shot.
Yeah.
That's the second time I've heard that said this week, Janina, was that's exactly what's going on with this decision that he's making because of where he may and may not be able to play. Right. And you bring up the US Open, Scott, we don't care here. They'll probably allow him to play here, shot or no shot. Look at the NFL and look at the NBA with the players that are currently playing right now that choose not to have shots.
That's very true.
But you know what?
Oh, go ahead.
Dwayne, you have to remember, though, this is an international sport where everybody's traveling globally. Everybody in the NBA, they're here. So we can manage that a little bit better as a country.
Gotcha.
It could be a little bit different for international travel for athletes. I mean, I don't know, but that seems to be the way it's going in other major tennis events. And I really think that's why, because everybody's coming from everywhere. Right. So it makes more sense to, even if you're only going to single out this group of athletes, to say, y'all need to be vaccinated because I don't know where the fuck your mouth's been, right? Like, so we'll see. And I agree, because for the most part, the US is like, yeah, come on in. But I don't know how that's going to work. I really don't. But I would like the majors to come together and make a joint statement like they did same for way that Osaka.
Exactly.
Osaka, yeah. That's
sorry, motherfuckers.
Yeah, right. I mean, seriously, you're right. You're right. But damn, I mean, so you said that. I mean, France about to put in a vaccination protocol. I mean, like I said, every country, to my knowledge, has some sort of, even here, has a form of a COVID protocol of sorts for international travel.
Sure.
So I don't know how Novak's going to get around that.
Well, he has repeatedly shown us, and not just here, many other times, that he doesn't care about what the rules are. I mean, I don't know if you guys are aware, but at the beginning of COVID, early 2020, he thought it would be a great idea to have this tournament called the Adria Tour. And he brought all these players from all over the world at the very beginning of the pandemic, when we didn't know what the fuck was going on. He didn't have any social distancing in place. No one was wearing a mask. They were posting photos and videos of them out at nightclubs. And the Adria Tour wasn't in one place. It was called the Adria Tour because it went from place to place to place all around Serbia. Well, when it was all said and done, it turned out that was a super spreader event. Like, over and over and over. And this was his baby. This was his idea. He created it. He caught some backlash for it at the moment, but he tried to focus it as we need something positive right now in the midst of all this doom and gloom.
Oh, technically he was right. A positive test.
There you go.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just been a fucking fiasco. It's been a fiasco.
So yeah, God. Yeah.
Right. What do you even say?
For a guy who, right? So a guy who wants to be liked and loved so bad, he's doing a lot of things that makes him hate it, and just shoots himself in the foot every goddamn time.
His father was likening him to Jesus and being persecuted.
Oh no! Stop that.
Yes, like the whole fucking family's crazy. His father is on TV in Serbia with mass crowds behind him, saying that if his visa doesn't get reinstated, we're gonna go to the streets. Not one mask on. Hundreds, if not thousands of people. Are they the south
of Europe? Are they the southern? Are they the deep south of Europe? I mean,
maybe we could just pick them up and stick them in Mississippi, right? I don't know, but
maybe.
Fuck, like it's just so bad. Like I hey, if Novak ruins his legacy over COVID, I ain't mad, motherfucker. I like you anyways. But you're stupid. Like, this is so dumb. This is all avoidable. Either say the responsible thing to do is to get vaccinated, or say I'm not vaccinated and I'm not coming. That's it. You don't have any other choices. That's it.
Wow. You know what the messed up part about the whole thing is? It's overshadowing what's going on in the Australia Open.
Because the entire tournament,
I mean, you got like Andy Murray's back for what it's worth. Of course, we mentioned Rafa Nadal's there.
And Andy Murray and Rafa both said get vaccinated.
Good. Yes, they did. And you know, Naomi Osaka's doing the thing. Madison Keys is on a bit of a roll, I could tell. Sloane Stephens got bounced again, but it is what it is. So,
hey, her wedding dress was beautiful.
Yeah, it was. She's beautiful too. So I mean, that's
that was the first time I've seen her in photos where she absolutely looked amazing, because typically when she does a photo shoot, it looks like some weird soft porn shit. And I'm thinking, who set this up? This is so bad, because she is beautiful. She is gorgeous. I mean, and TV does her no justice. Sloane Stephens is gorgeous. But I see her like on beaches doing this swimsuit, this, that. And it really is like they never get the right angle. It just looks really trashy. And like she's gonna put something on Tinder. I don't know. It's just it's bad.
OnlyFans.
Bad.
There you go. OnlyFans.
Something. But her wedding photos were. So I'm thinking like maybe she was still a little bit on her honeymoon and it didn't go well. You know, whatever.
Shout out to Josie Altidore. Shout out to him, by the way.
Yeah, he's doing the damn thing. I mean,
yes,
they can both get it.
You crazy.
OnlyFans, they can both get it. My God, this actually does sound like an old school Tinder profile that I've
no.
That's a whole nother
Go back to
conversation.
MySpace, a Black Planet. That's a Black Planet. You remember like back in the day, like people were using Black Planet to pick up folks?
Oh my God.
We all did it.
Actually, yeah.
So
I didn't do it. I just want to put it out there. I absolutely did not.
Okay.
I did it. Actually, I would have to watch.
Yeah, I know exactly. That's
okay.
what I'm
Yeah. I zoomed in on that one person. I was like, they on Black Planet? Let me go, man.
Yes.
Let me go ahead and get them real quick.
Oh, the good old days. But anyway, that MySpace. So with all this overshadowing the actual tennis, and actually, speaking of, one more thing before I get into that. Is Serena, is she still, I know she's
injured.
I'm sorry?
She's still injured?
She's
injured, yeah.
Okay.
She's still around. Venus's ranking was too low to make it.
Oh, that's right, because they drop you if you don't participate. Yeah.
This is the first time, I don't remember the exact year, but this is the first time in a very, 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 very long time that we haven't had a Williams sister in the draw. And it feels weird. It feels.
Do they care anymore? I'm not trying to be snarky with that question.
Yeah, I think Serena does. I think Venus just wants to sell you shit, so she stays around and she just wants to keep herself relevant. But Venus has her hands in so many pots, which Serena does too. But Serena's 40, so Venus is 41.
42, I think.
42.
Yeah.
Like they're old, you know. I'm telling you, Venus just wants people to see her face so you can buy her next whatever it is. And Serena, yeah, I think Serena still cares. She's not going to be around too much longer. Like, what can she do? And I know Serena says, I'm pretty sure she said she wants to have another child. So she needs to hurry up. Her eggs are old.
Right. This biology lesson is brought to you by
Listen, Dr. Seuss and green eggs and ham.
Well, given that we're talking about the Williams sisters right now, with all this Novak shenanigans going on, and forgetting about the actual tennis, this probably goes to show you how much they're missed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, this is a preview for the next how many years going forward, that if they're not in the tournament, if Serena just says she has how many major titles? 23. She's right behind that Margaret Court lady. So
no, we don't talk about that. Cut it out.
Okay, I remember why. But the point being, is that Serena could just say, screw it, screw this, having their child right off in the sunset, and she has her businesses, and she's good. She has her endorsements, she has her titles. So, but people, what I'm trying to say is that folks do not. When I say folks, I mean the tennis media, the USA Tennis or whatever, and any of the major tournaments for that matter, are going to miss. They don't realize how special of a phenomenon that they have.
Well, yeah, they do. And they know that they're going to miss them. They just don't say it out loud. That's a hush hush conversation when the cameras and mics are off. Trust me. They are very much aware of what a hit tennis is going to take when the Williams sisters are gone and when Federer is gone. It's going to be huge, 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 huge.
Right. And because, I mean, I think about the stories, Janine, that you told about how USA Tennis has frankly fucked around a lot of like tennis players, like Taylor Townsend comes to mind. You know, if those you don't know familiar with their story, Google it.
There's a young player who's playing right now as we record, Maxime Cressy, who is a young American who somehow he pissed off the USTA and can't get a wild card. He has to play qualifying and everything. And like, he is got something special. And really, if the USTA were smart, they would try to help him out. But they just won't. Like, they're so fickle. Fickle.
Well, go ahead.
He's not, I think he's not MAGA. That might be the problem. That's what they tend to like.
Speaking of which, so that one guy, John Eisner, who I still can't stand.
Guess what? Maxime Cressy just beat him.
Oh!
Yep, in their round one match. Yes.
When you don't understand, I cannot stand that guy. That's one big reason, because of what he said about Kaepernick back when Kaepernick first took his knee. And he said, I'm whoever Blaine Gabbert was the backup quarterback. So I'm a big fan of Blaine Gabbert. Just say it out loud. Plus, he did say that. He said it out loud. You could YouTube his ass. Also,
he says lots of things out loud that he shouldn't say out loud. And
also, though, the Bane part about that, he's from Greensboro. He grew up not that far from where I grew up. So that makes it even more painful. I'm like, stupid mother. I mean, it's just time at the time, just like that. I think Coco Vandeweghe is the same way. So but I don't despise her as much as I despise Eisner. I just totally despise Eisner. You probably should. Fuck him. I just despise him. So I'm glad he got his ass beat by that brother. So good.
Yeah. He's gone. He's getting old too. He's going to be around much longer.
No.
Wait a minute, how old is he? Because if he's from Greensboro and he's of a particular age, I would really understand why
he's 6'8". He's 6'10". He's a tall,
not that old.
Young man.
I'm gonna look him up real.
Well, he's not young anymore, but younger than us, but still.
Yeah. I mean, he's 36.
36, pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not pretty close. He's still 10 years. Well. No. Younger than me, but still.
Yeah, but he's close to the end. He's almost 40, so he's fucking close to the end. He's not going to be anybody now for a major tournament title. So I think Francis got one year, and not in a major tournament, but I think in the side tournament, I think Francis may have got one.
So I was watching Francis play last night before. I don't know why he went 5 sets. But he did, because that's just what fucking Francis does. And it's so frustrating. But he had this whole like entourage of fans. It was the weirdest thing. They had Francis Tiafoe songs and everything. And I'm like, where did these people come from? It's not like he's in America. They're in Australia. He did do really well there. That's Australia is where he has done his best at a major. He did make it to the quarterfinal last year, the year before, I don't remember what. But it was like the fucking Twilight Zone. Like, I mean, it was a small court, so there weren't that many fans anyways. And there's not a lot of fans in general because they're only selling tickets at 50% capacity because of COVID. So it's a smaller court. There's not a lot of people there. but the fans that were there, they had the Francis signs, they had songs. I mean, like, it was a big
cult.
fucking deal. It was very much cult-like.
So
it was weird.
So,
but he won.
Okay, so he's in Australia Open. Is he second round? I guess.
Around.
Okay.
Yep.
So he's like 22-ish now, 23.
Yeah, he's young. He's got plenty of time to figure out what to do with all that ass.
Now, is he still through US Tennis, or is he on his own like a lot of black stars?
Yeah, I don't really know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I know Coco Gauff is on her own. They didn't fuck with you.
She's with Coco Gauff, although she lost miserably in her round one. Oh my God, she totally fucked my draw up. But she is with Patrick Martoglu, which is Serena Williams's coach. She trains at his academy in France.
Nice. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish that USA Tennis, it's like they still think it's the 70s and the 80s, right? Or in the 90s, where US tennis players like dominated men and women. With we don't have to name them, we all know them, like Andre Agassi, Sampras, what's the Asian dude name? Michael Chang, and a couple other cats that escapes me right now. John McEnroe before that. So
Jimmy Connors,
and the brother man who passed from HIV.
Arthur Ashe.
So they think it's still the 70s, 80s, and early to mid 90s. They still haven't cultivated any superstars. I'm talking about USA Tennis, I'm not talking about American-born players. There's several superstars of American-born players. We all know who they are, but they're not through USA Tennis. And I think that USA Tennis, I don't know what they're thinking. We've had the conversation before, Janina, but I don't know what the hell I just don't know what the hell they're thinking.
I don't think they know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually they are going to realize that all of their young talent is going elsewhere. I mean, like, Coco is the next big thing, right. She is the face of women's tennis right now, and she isn't with the USTA. So somebody's got to wake up somewhere.
Oh my God. This sweater is apropos. I swear. So for those that don't realize, I am wearing a shawl neck sweater in honor of Fred G. Sanford, because Sanford and Son, their 50th anniversary was last week. So yes, you big dummy. How did you allow the biggest name in your sport to just not be with, because you're just, oh my God. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I really don't understand.
Well, honestly, I'm not going to say that the USTA didn't want anything to do with Coco. I'm honestly not sure.
Okay.
It could be that her parents are smart enough to take her elsewhere.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Their parents are our age, so yeah. They know what time it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so, they've seen what they've done to other black players in the past.
Correct.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Why would you want to be a part of that, right?
Yeah, but again, you big dummy. That's the bed that you made.
Yeah, harness your talent.
Yeah.
So we'll close the segment on this. We hadn't talked about really much about the tennis going on there right now. I don't know if that's sad for the Australia Open or if it's the Novak just being an ass, but I mean, and all the other shit going around tennis. But who should we look for? Who do you think the surprises will be, or whatever? What your wild cards, or whatever?
The woman that beat Sloane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anna Raducanu is the young Brit who won the US Open.
Right.
There was her and Leylah Fernandez, the two Cinderella stories. Well, Leylah already lost. And honestly, I think she's the better of the two players, but something, whatever, they're both young. So Anna is probably feeling good with that win over Sloane. And I would say she's worth watching. The women's draw is wide open as always, because the talent is deep and there are a lot of people who can come out as winners. So, that's all fine and well. For the men, I am so Gael Monfils, the fun black Frenchman.
My man, so
Monfils. You're right. He was in Novak's quarter. Well, Novak is gone.
Come on, bruh.
So
high on him to low.
Listen, I'm a little bit nervous about how much of an easy path he potentially has to get to the end of this tournament. This could be his moment, and God, would I love that.
Sure.
So I'm watching Monfils big time. Alexander Zverev, the young German who should have a major but doesn't because he choked, is there. Rafa Nadal has not won. This is Rafa's worst major. He's only ever won here one time.
Wow.
So I'm sure he would like to get another one. He'll have to get through Zverev to get that. I don't know that he can do that. Daniil Medvedev, the one who beat Djokovic somewhere. US Open last year. US Open, I think it was. Listen, he is the villain that Novak wishes he could be. And he kicks ass and takes name, and his game is so funky. If you ever watch him play, you're like, how the fuck's he hit the ball? Like, it's just weird. His movements are and he's, and he's a bad guy. So I love him. Like, he's basically like, fuck you. Thanks for booing me. You gave me lots of energy, and I'll be back to kick your fave's ass next time. And so I would definitely be watching out for him. There's a young guy, Jack. Is his name Jack? His name is Sinner, and I just like him. I don't really know. I can't even really tell you where he's from off the top of my head. Is he Italian? I don't know, but he's young. He's talented, and I think that with Novak not being in the draw, people are gonna approach things differently, because whether or not they're never gonna admit it out loud, but if Novak's in the draw, you probably a younger player, they're like, I can't win this, because there are just some people you don't have the talent to beat. So I think that we're going to see some people with some new given life. We might get a surprise winner, because this is different. Rafa's not really a threat here. Roger's not here. Dominic Thiem isn't here, which I didn't even realize Dominic Thiem wasn't here until we were halfway through our own draw show. We were like, oh shit, he's not even in the draw, and no one missed him. Dominic Thiem is the one, remember when he got kicked out of the interview room for Serena, and Whoopi Goldberg said, but who is Dominic Thiem? And I told you guys he's the number 4 ranked player in the world.
Yeah, I know.
See, nobody fucking knows who he is, right? I didn't miss him. I supposedly covered tennis, and I didn't even notice that he wasn't in the draw. I filled out my whole draw sheet, did not miss his name. So, it should be interesting. I do think that Medvedev or Zverev will win. They can't play each other until the final. But I think it's possible that we might get an outlier. We might get a TFO. We might get a Monfils. We might get I don't know, a nobody. We might get this Salvatore Caruso that took Novak's place. Who knows?
How about
what
that
you're saying is
TC
don't
guy?
go and put money on this tournament this year. That's what you're saying.
Don't do it. Yeah, don't do it.
So how about the TC cat?
Stefanos Tsitsipas. So this is the most interesting thing about Tsitsipas as far as the Australian Open. Tsitsipas has a reputation for taking strategic bathroom breaks, in that they are extended bathroom breaks. So there is a new rule that is implemented at this tournament. There is a time limit on the bathroom break. It is
so a
3 minutes.
CCPP. Gotcha.
CCPP fucked it up for everybody. I mean, I'm assuming that if you have to take a shit, you better tell them that that's what you got to go do, so you get more than your 3 minutes. I don't know, but I actually think that 3 minutes is
on your shoulders.
you get an additional. If you have to go to the bathroom to change your shirt, if you're a female, then you do get an additional something. I don't know how much it is. It's not much, like 20 or 30 seconds. But yeah, I don't know. Tsitsipas isn't gonna do too much. He'll make it into the second week. but he probably won't win. But he won't be taking those long 10, 15-minute bathroom breaks this time. He has changed the game. Look at him.
Way to go.
Trendsetter. How about that? Best up for everybody else.
A pioneer.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
cockadoodie and the stinky. All right.
That's right.
All right, Gina, man, we could rap with your ass for like hours, but I mean, unfortunately.
Hey, this is exactly what I was hoping for.
Yeah, exactly.
For the past week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yes. I've been thinking about this chick,
God.
man, when Novak was making a total ass of himself.
Well, I'm glad
mean-
that I could deliver. I hope I shed a little light on the Serbian
A lot of light.
situation.
Yes, you
A
have.
lot of light.
So please tell everyone again, like the name of your podcast and where to find you and where to look for.
So we are the Reels Tennis Fans Podcast.
Yes.
It is
Okay.
Black people only talking about tennis from a fan's point of view. We do have the occasional white guest, but we're Black people talking about tennis. And you can find us anywhere. We are on iTunes, we are on Spotify, we are on Podbean, we are on YouTube, we are on Amazon Podcasts, all the places. So, find us, like us, subscribe, do all the nice things that you do.
All right. Well, Gina, I love having you on here, but we're gonna have you on again next week, hopefully, because it still be the the Australian Open, and I know you have a lot of shit to say, so we're here for it. And just look for your ass next week to be on here. So thanks, sis.
All right. Good night,
Yes,
guys.
thank you.
All right,
Thank
now.
you.
Welcome back. So again, shout out to Janina Reed. Please check out Real Tennis Fans Podcast on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasting. Whatever, you can check them out on Twitter as well. So she's a hoot, she's hilarious. We love having her on doing these major tennis tournaments. So yeah, it's good stuff there. So we're gonna get to our HBCU sports segment, but while we kick that off, I got a question for you, brother. Now,
Okay.
those of us in the know, or know more than me, have been hearing about Hue Jackson, Grambling Duke head coach. Hue Jackson's been killing it on the recruiting trail, by the way. I mean, he's getting lost in the sauce, if you will, in the shadow behind Dion. You know? And rightfully so. I mean, no one's Dion, right? But Hue Jackson is a former NFL coach. He has connections. He's been very successful, except as a head coach. But that's, I think, because of organization. But that's not here nor there. But the point is that he's been around. He knows people. He knows things. He uses California connections to recruit a lot of good players, young men, to come to Grambling. So his recruiting class is pretty stacked too. It's just not It's not Jack State and Dion. But I've been hearing about an announcement that he's a big announcement that's gonna drop from him. Now, I don't, have you heard about this? Because I don't know. I hadn't heard anything, but I'm just looking for you or hell, anybody to shed some light on this, because I don't know what he's got cooking, this major announcement that's said.
Well, you're right. And it's funny that you bring that up, because someone just asked me about that just yesterday. They're like, because you're right, there was an announcement made, and there's a lot of anticipation to see what this announcement is.
Yes.
And there was people that were wondering whether or not this announcement has been made yet or not. It hasn't. And my guess is that he'll probably end up waiting until Friday morning to make this announcement.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. Well, not just Hugh, but Eric Dooley over there at Southern and Alabama A&M. Well, a lot of the teams in the SWAC have been making a lot of interesting pickups in terms of this recent recruiting class. And God, in essence, this is kind of because of what's going on with Jackson State. So
stepping up.
There is a prime effect that's going on, just not the way that I thought it would be going on. It's more so the rest of the conference, or those that can right now, are doing their best to keep pace with what's going on at Jackson State, so they can continue to compete, which is nothing wrong with that. Right. But yeah, I'm as intrigued as you are to see exactly what this announcement is.
Yeah, so I can't wait, because I mean, I've seen it on, like, there's some prominent brothers who cover, and sisters who cover HBCU who've been saying the same thing. They're waiting for this announcement. So to your point, it could be Friday morning, but whatever it is, for him to tease it like this, it can't be a letdown, right? Because you know
It better
how
not be
petty
a
SWAC
letdown.
fans are of
Oh.
Steve Style, not Grambling State or MEAC fans for that matter, or hell, the SIAC, I guess, and the CIAA.
Yeah, I'll say this: if
Clown
it is a
him.
letdown, he gonna learn today, boy.
Yeah,
That's one thing.
yeah.
He is going to learn today.
Yeah,
Because if they, if all of this build up, which has been about a week now, actually,
right.
it'll probably be a week Thursday, Friday, right?
Right.
All of this lead up that there's a big announcement coming, and it's not as big as people anticipated to be. There's going to be a lot of upset people, and he was going to get his proper introduction into the SWAC and their fan base.
Well, shoot, they're going to be petty. You know that Facebook group, SWAC Sports Central, how petty they are, and there's a SWAC/MEAC group. Man,
Yes.
they're going to be.
Yo,
they're going to
social
drag his
media-
ass.
Social media is going to let him have it. HBCU sports media is going to let him have it.
Yeah.
He is going to get an earful, and he's going to know, hey, I can't do this here.
Right.
Let me go ahead and make sure that I'm prepped from here on out. But you know what? It takes time.
Right.
Because there were several things that Deion Sanders was saying during the first few months within the SWAC, and of course, it was his growing pains.
Right.
So he's made adjustments. There are a lot of things that he used to complain about that he's not complaining about anymore.
Right.
That lets me know that he's finally got he's getting adjusted to the conference, and he's dealing with it accordingly. We'll just wait and see exactly how long it takes to Hue Jackson. Now, let's be real. Yes, Hue was with the HBCU this past season with Tennessee State, but the OVC ain't the SWAC,
Right.
and the OVC fans ain't SWAC fans.
Right.
So yeah, he's most definitely going to learn that if that announcement, this build up is for naught.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gonna know.
I would say they won't be like, nigga, please.
Somebody will.
Yeah, someone will. People will.
Somebody
People
will.
plural will.
Yes.
We'll be saying that. Just think.
The thing is, I just hope that no one does. You know what? The chances of it happening at the press conference is high. Scott, I'm telling you this because because I was there, I witnessed it, and sadly enough, I was a part of it. Celebration Bowl, Friday afternoon, when they're having the press conference. John Grant, shout out to John Grant because he's done a wonderful job in terms of organizing the Celebration Bowl, and you know, he's actually been wonderful enough to answer some of my personal questions too. But during the Celebration Bowl, he's talking about the Celebration Bowl being the bowl that kicks off bowl season.
Right.
And for those that understand the scheduling, it don't kick off bowl schedule no more. Matter of fact, there's a game that happens on Friday. I think it's the Bahama Bowl that happens on Friday.
Yeah, the Bahamas are one of the first ones. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those games is the first game, and then there are two other games that happen after that actually happened before the Celebration Bowl or around the same time as the Celebration Bowl. So as he's saying that, there's some, I'm not going to write out the other people who I'm having this conversation with, but we're discussing amongst ourselves, and probably at a certain decibel level that probably could be heard where he is. We're like, yo, it ain't the first. Ain't there a game going on right now? Someone pulls out the phone. Yup. And it's showing us the stream of the live game, and we're snickering while they're having a press conference. And I'm like, oh my God. So yes, if this is going to be a disappointment, be prepared that you might catch some of that heat at the presser. But if you don't, it's coming on social media.
Man,
and they won't let you have it.
I'm picturing some of the host media members go yelling, nigga, what?
Close enough. I'm not going to tell no tales outside of school. But for those media members that don't hold no punches, they will most definitely let him know at some point that, yo, that's not how we do it here. This is how we do it. You better get yourself right before August comes. Because if not, it's only going to get worse. It's only January, bro. You can't be out here slipping.
Oh, man. Hey, I just wish Hell, I wish it was streamed, someone on
It might
HBCU
be.
game day, huh?
It might be, because I know that, a lot of times Grambling, they will stream their stuff on their website or maybe on their YouTube page so check their social media most definitely. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be on the lookout for the announcement, the official announcement when that happens. So once I get word of it, follow me on social media. That's the Yard HBCU on Twitter and on Instagram and on Facebook. Once I hear of an announcement or when the announcement is going to happen, I'm most definitely going to put that out there and any details on where it's going to be. So if you want to watch it live, I'll most definitely place that out there as well. So yeah, just get ready.
Man.
It may not be audible to the mics. On social media, they are going to air him
I would
out,
pay,
my brother.
if I had enough money, I would almost pay some to see someone just let out loud in the middle of the night. Nigga, what?
But see, that's the fun about us.
Yeah.
And
We don't hide
the way
it,
that
man.
we deal with it. Because, if one of us does that, if we're doing that in a realm in which we might not be known or respected, that's the last time we in that spot.
No.
That's the last time we in that spot. And my God, thankfully, at the Celebration Bowl, again, I'm not saying no names of who said it.
Yeah.
I know they got clout, and I don't know if it was heard by anyone else of importance from the organizers of the game, but I doubt very seriously they would have let them people be escorted out of the building that day. Me, maybe, but I don't know about them. So,
man,
it is what
man,
it is.
Listen, man, we just need a Dave Chappelle skip for that. Anyway, speaking of Grambling and stuff, I've been marveling at and I'll let you get to your thing, but I'm just going to spit on. I'm just going to share some stuff. I've marveled, and you mentioned this in the past when it comes in regards to Prairie A&M, Prairie View A&M. I'm marveled. I've been looking at some of these institutions have been making big investments in their facilities. Like they showed the pictures of Jackson State's locker room, which was flash. I thought.
Oh, of course.
Monitors over the lockers.
Oh, of course.
That's fly as hell. And then they have, I think, Pine Bluff had some, I don't know if it was renderings or it was already done.
I think it's renderings, yeah.
Prairie View's been like, we've seen this new stadium, right? Newer stadium, but their locker rooms, man, I'm like, whoa. I mean, a lot of schools SWAC schools have been making or in the process of making investments. I know I'm forgetting a couple more out there that's already either during the process of doing so.
Alabama State has a nice facility, most definitely.
Right, yeah, I remember them. Yes. And I don't know if FAMU,
I think FAMU is another one. If they don't have it, and I know the fans will correct me if I'm wrong, if they don't have it, they're currently in the process of working on it, because I know they have one of the better basketball facilities within HBCU athletics.
They got a lot of money too.
They got a lot of money over there to do some things, and they know what to do with it.
Right.
So that's the thing. I understand that they don't have Power 5 money. Only Power 5.
No one wants them to have Power 5 money. We don't expect.
Well, and that's the other thing too. No one wants them to have Power 5 money, because that would be a whole nother monster in itself if HBCUs have Power 5 money. But I'm not even going to sit here and lament about that dream.
Sure.
But the fact that the ones that do have the money, they're making the investment so that they can be attractive to this talent, they're doing so.
Right.
The thing is, of course, we still need other programs on the Division I level to go ahead and keep pace. There are others that are working on it, and those that aren't, they're looking to maneuver so that they can, hopefully, so that they can go ahead and compete with the teams that are within their conference. Because if they can't, they won't, and then they're going to end up being on the outside looking in, trying to figure out how to compete for the foreseeable future with the other teams that have decided to move on and upgrade their facilities.
So, I mean, I'm just marveling at the SWAC. I mean, I've been saying this shit for like the past almost more than calendar year. Yeah. The SWAC is sitting on a fucking gold mine. They're sitting on a gold mine, man.
They are, right? But the biggest conversation, of course, especially as it pertains to football,
Mm.
is with all of the talent that they're bringing in, with the attention that they're receiving right now, the biggest thing is, of course, them being capable of competing outside of the conference.
Yes.
Now, they haven't beaten an FCS opponent since 1985. It would be wonderful if that can happen sometime soon.
Are you serious? More than almost 40 years?
Yes, it's been, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, bruh. It's almost been 40 years since the last time they've beaten an FCS opponent. And then they came close a couple of times this past season, actually, with Southern, if memory serves me. And I think that it was a game against McNeese State where they lost by 7. And then, of course, the game against Louisiana Monroe. Now, I know that there are 2 teams on the lower end of FBS. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
I know that there are 2 teams on the lower end of FBS, but they're still FBS teams.
Yeah.
And it's still a thing when an FCS team beats an FBS team. I don't care who you are.
Well, Aggies did that a few years ago. They went.
Yes, they
Kent
did,
State.
right?
Yeah.
When they beat Kent State, and then of course
Show
when
me
they
my
beat
money.
oh man, listen. Oh
my favorite quote, man. Give me my money.
That was Jacksonville State. That was Jacksonville State. No, that was East Carolina.
Oh, it's East Carolina. Okay,
That was
East Carolina.
ECU.
Okay,
That was
my
when
bad.
they
That was
beat
Kent
ECU.
State. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, that was when they beat ECU. Yeah, because Kent State was under Rob Broadway. So yeah, when they beat ECU, that was the give me my money game. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That was hilarious, bro.
Bring me
give me my money. Yeah. He's like
people may
Shout
not know
him.
what
Shout
that
to him.
from, but they most definitely know that meme, boy. Bring
Yeah.
me my money. So yeah, that's the thing, is that a lot of HBCU alums who are fans of FCS football are looking for SWAC teams, especially now with their rosters getting improved on paper.
Right. Yes.
To not only compete against better OOC opponents, and I understand why they compete against the likes of the MEAC and Division II opponents from the SEAC. I get it, because of course those are money makers for them.
Right.
But for the people who want to see at least the the third best team in the SWAC continue to be considered for the FCS playoffs,
yeah.
They're going to have to get their OOC better, or continue to hope that they get a draw the same way that Florida A&M got this past season, where not only did they have a wonderful season, losing only the 2 games throughout the year, with one of those being against an FBS opponent, they had a lot of other teams that would have been considered ahead of them to have losses too. So that's where that magic formula is. You can continue to schedule the way that you schedule and hope that you have a season like Florida A&M did, or you just go out there and you play against the likes of the Southland State, the Southland Conference, or I'm trying to think of other
Missouri Valley Conference, like
Missouri Valley Conference.
Yeah,
or even the OVC. So you can compete against those surrounding conferences on the FCS level that surround you and beat those guys. You're going to get more consideration and more respect, not only for your conference, but within the consideration of the selection committee, so that those teams, those third place teams, can be looked at as a viable option to compete in the FCS playoffs.
Right.
So that's what they're hoping for. Because yes, it's nice to beat up within your conference and to hopefully one day win a Celebration Bowl. Because God knows that was 2016 the last time the SWAC did that.
Yeah.
And yeah, my belly was a lot smaller back then. Man, oh man. But yeah, right. So they would not only like to win the Celebration Bowl, they want to go ahead and be viable outside of the conference. So that's the respect that the SWAC fans, the true SWAC fans that really love FCS football really want. They want to be respected outside of the conference, because no matter how good Jackson State was this year, throughout the entire season, they're still going to be criticized for that Celebration Bowl loss. Same thing with Florida A&M. They're going to be criticized because of their playoff loss, because they don't seem to get wins outside of the conference.
Correct.
And that's what they want. They want to get those dubs.
Correct. So to your point, yes, I think that's a big to-do list, if you will, for the SWAC programs, because again, they're getting talent more, they're getting more talent on paper. They're getting better coaching personnel on paper. So, and again, we've talked about ad nauseam about the attendance. They lead by far and away in FCS in attendance. Is not even close, especially after Dion. Let's just be real about that. It's not even close as far as support, as far as attendance. It's time to parlay that. That's how, again, I'm drawing parallels to SEC because they're an SEC country. They're essentially the SEC almost. They're outside of Missouri Valley Conference, where North Dakota State and company are. They're the real SEC of FCS. If you think about in terms of fan support, in terms of notoriety, okay, because the public at large know who Jackson State is. They know who FAMU is. They know who Grambling is. They know who Southern is. Those are your brands. They got brands. They got brands for days.
Yes, they do.
And to compete with the likes, the brandings. I'm talking about from a strictly brand standpoint.
Of course, right?
To compete with the likes of North Dakota State, which is a brand in of itself. The Montana, University of Montana, that's in the Big Sky. James Madison, I know they're going to move up to FBS this year, but they're a brand because they compete every year. They're competitive every year.
And see, and that's the thing, right? Not only do the SWAC fans, and more than likely the coaches themselves want to be looked at more than just being a brand and gaining attention for competing well within their own individual conference. They want that respect of being able to beat teams out of the conference too.
Right.
So until they can go ahead and prove that and actually schedule games and schedule more than one opponent a year on that schedule, so they can prove it, then they'll start to get that respect. And then, the SWAC fans that know will end up having a little bit more respect for what these teams are currently doing. Don't get me wrong. They most definitely love the fact that this talent is coming to the conference. Right. They want to see it pay dividends on the field.
Right.
Outside of
that's the important part.
That's the important part. That's what they really want. Because the thing is, the conference is taking, of course, as incremental steps.
Yes.
But people want to see it happen faster because, of course, they're getting, they're getting more attention. Right. They're getting more exposure. Right. If the facilities are starting to improve, the talent itself on paper or on the respective teams is starting to improve. The thing is, can they compete against the big boys? And that's what they want to see. The only problem with that, though, is, they still have 12 teams within that conference. And you're going to, because of the fact that they sell tickets, you're going to want to see, well, there's certain people who are going to want to see them play more of the in-conference opponents rather than play OOCs so that they can go ahead and generate revenue, which I understand. Right. But there's a way, and there are people who are smarter than me that know how to do it. There's a way to generate that revenue and also get an opportunity to compete against your out-of-conference opponents and prove that you're the best in FCS as a whole.
Yes, well said. Well said. I just like the fact that at least, dare I say, half of the SWAC are up or on the midst or had to complete the upgrades to their facilities. I'm talking about football facilities. So that's good. So that lets you know right there that they're getting the money from somewhere. So, I mean, either it's from alumni and engagement, re-engagement, if you will, or from TV, or from streaming, ESPN streaming. Either way, the notoriety is here. It's here.
It's there. The thing is, and I think we've said it before, hopefully, everything that's going on now, they're learning from this, right? And they're learning to make this work for years on end. Because, I might not agree with Channing Crowder, but JSU is on borrowed time with Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
I don't. It's not that I want to see him go, because I don't want people to think that, right?
Sure.
But let's just be real with athletics right now. It is a rarity Yeah, it is a rarity that anyone stays in any spot longer than 5 years. 10 years if you're blessed, right?
Yeah.
And that means you have to be doing extremely well for a very long time. But that's not how it normally works out. Right. You know, if you get a couple of losing seasons, hell, the damn Cowboys just lost Sunday. They went, what, 11-6? I mean, I'm happy that they lost, but they won 11 games this year, right, during the regular season.
Yes.
Was it 10 or 11? Well, whatever it was, they won
11 games. They won 12. They won 12. They won 12 and 5.
They won 12 games.
Yeah.
And they're talking about firing the coach because of one bad drive. Are you kidding me?
And penalties.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I always want to see Mike McCarthy.
The only reason why they were in the game in the beginning was because Jimmy G shit the bed, but that's not.
Oh, but I mean, that's Jimmy G playing like Jimmy G, right?
It should have been a San Francisco blowout, but that's not here.
It really should have, but you know, it's also Jimmy G and a lot of as good of a play caller as he is. Kyle Shanahan likes to make bad play calling as well, so that's there too, right? But I digress. But yeah, it doesn't matter. All it takes is for the right amount of failure at the right time, and fan bases are going to want you gone. Right. So yeah, I'm just hoping that they're learning from his presence there in the SWAC so they can continue to thrive. I agree. Well said. So any more, do you have any more? I totally hijacked the segment, but do you have any HBCUs news to bless us with, or any on the horizon, anything that we should know about? Oh my God, man, there's a ton of stuff going on. First and foremost, let me start with, it is indoor track season is fully underway. Correct. Shout out to Randolph Ross over at North Carolina A&T. Not only is he on the Bozeman Award watch list for the best track athlete in the nation, North Carolina A&T, they had a wonderful outing out of Clemson this past weekend. Several athletes ranking nationally based upon their performance, but Randolph Ross at it again. He ran the fastest 400 time in the world on Saturday. I forget what that time was, but it was fast. It was fast in the world. So yeah, congratulations to him. Shout out to the fans that came out to the Howard Notre Dame game that was played on Martin Luther King on Monday. Yeah. I made my way out to that game. It was a nice sized crowd out there. Wonderfully played game. I'm about to call it Florida A&M. Howard only lost by 3 points to Notre Dame. Yeah, I saw that. It was a closely played game. And shout out to Notre Dame. They actually showed up with their warm-up tees. And on the back of their warm-up tees, I actually took pictures. I'm going to go ahead and post them all on my social media. The tees were the ones that I was capable of getting. The warm-up tees that they were wearing was in honor of the Black players that were from the DC area that played at Notre Dame. So you got your Adrian Dantley, Monty Williams, and all those Black players. I saw the picture that people may or may not know about that actually got love. And oddly enough, a lot of those family members were there at the game as well. So shout out to Notre Dame for that little nod and that little nugget for those that missed that. But, several other things that happened. Of course, you have the, what was that? The FCS football for FCS stats. They actually announced their players of the year. I think it was last week. Okay. Scott, remind me if I've already said this last week or not, but if I did or didn't, either way, I'm going to go ahead and say it again. I think you might have, but just bless us again. Just go ahead. Okay, just for those that missed it, of course, Isaiah Land, the linebacker for Florida A&M, was named Defensive Player of the Year. He is only the fourth, I think it was, the fourth or the fifth. He is the fifth defensive player from the HBCU to ever be named the Buck Buchanan Award winner. Also, of course, Deion Sanders was named he received the Eddie Robinson Award for Coach of the Year, and Shador Sanders, quarterback over there at Jackson State, was named the Jerry Rice Award winner, which is the Freshman of the Year. Now, what makes these awards so interesting, the Buck Buchanan Award, Jerry Rice Award, Eddie Robinson Award, and God, who is the fourth, Walter Payton Award. All of them, of course, are named after HBCU alums, but it's very rare that an HBCU representative wins these awards. So it's always wonderful to see when they
Yeah, I
actually
remember that.
do.
Yeah.
So yeah, congratulations to them. Shador was the first HBCU player to do it, and Deion Sanders is only the second head coach after Henry Frazier the third, who was formerly with Prairie View A&M and actually had a short stint over at North Carolina Central too. But he's only the second HBCU coach to win that award. So congratulations to those gentlemen. Real quick, yes, the MEAC, they announced their they announced their Hall of Fame inductees for 2022 this past week. Shout out to let me make sure I get her name correct. Lord Jesus. Yes, Sadiya Doyle. She's one of the first athletes that I got an opportunity to cover early on in my coverage days over there at Howard. Is the highest scoring women's basketball player in MEAC history. She's one of the notable athletes in that class of 5. And also, of course, what is the former commissioner over there at the MEAC? Yes, Dennis Thomas, who actually used to be the athletic director over at Hampton. Of course, he was a longtime commissioner over at the MEAC. He is also going to be inducted into the MEAC Hall of Fame this coming summer as well. Yes. And then, of course, the Black College Football Hall of Fame, they've announced their induction class for 2022 as well, with notable players Ben Winter Coates that actually attended Livingstone College, well, most notably for his time up there with the New England Patriots, and he won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens. Donald Driver, of course, most notably known for his time, actually played his entire career with the Green Bay Packers, is an alum of Alcorn State. Big Train Moody out of Morris Brown actually played in the 40s down there in Morris Brown. Nate Newton, of course, we all know him for his time with Dallas Cowboys. He's a FAMU alum. Roscoe Nance, he was a well-known HBCU writer with the Pittsburgh Courier, not Pittsburgh Courier, I'm sorry, with the Clarion Ledger and the USA Today, and also worked extensively with the Black College Hall of Fame when it pertains to their selection of the Player of the Year. And Billy Nix, who used to be a head coach at Prairie View A&M and Morris Brown as well. And Sammy White played with the Minnesota Vikings in the late 70s, is an alum of Grambling, was also named to that class. And then, of course, the biggest news is we got another HBCU on the move. My God, Hampton. It was announced that Hampton is in the radar of the Colonial Athletic Association because, of course, with them losing James Madison, they're looking to fill that void.
Right.
And Stony Brook is another program that is looking to move to the CAA, as well as, well, actually, it's already a done deal with Stony Brook. Okay. But it was also announced that Monmouth and Hampton will be joining.
It makes more sense for Monmouth to do it because they're in the Northeast. So, yeah.
Most definitely, right? Yeah. So, they're going ahead and starting to spread more in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast to go ahead and bring in schools in that region. But yeah, Hampton has always wanted to go to the CAA, especially when they left, probably when they left the CIAA. That was probably an aberration of them. But I know most definitely when they left the MEAC, that's where they really wanted to go with the CAA. Yeah. But they didn't want to take them then. But now, again, that whole Oklahoma and Texas move to the SEC, the butterfly effect of that move, with other teams moving to other conferences. Yeah, this is what we're now getting. Everyone's capitalizing and looking to fill voids that they have in their respective conference, and that's just another void that they have that they need to go ahead and that they're looking to fill, and they're about to fill with Hampton over at the CAA.
So let me ask you this, because they've been talk for years of rumors that they were looking at Howard too.
There has been conversation about Howard potentially moving over to the CAA as well, especially when there was that mass exodus in the MEAC. As a matter of fact, it was just announced today. Let me see if I can pull that up, because I actually just got a message of it earlier during the show, where the MEAC has actually made some moves to appoint more people within the front office over at the MEAC, new staff members over at the MEAC, along with the new commissioner, Chandra Stills over there. And those people are Lynn W. Thompson, who used to be the athletic director, over at Bethune-Cookman. He will now be the strategic advisor over there at the MEAC. James Motley, who will serve as the media director, the digital media and creative content director, and Dr. Harry Stanford, who will be the MEAC's chief medical officer, along with Wyatt Sutton, who returns to the MEAC to serve as assistant commissioner of championships and compliance. So yes, the MEAC, they're in the process right now. They've reset their front office, their staff members there, and they're looking to make moves to add new members to the MEAC. And God, who knows, with this mass exodus that's going on at the Big South, who knows, the one thing that everyone's been hoping for, could A&T potentially return? Who knows? Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I doubt it right now.
Yeah.
That kind of crazy for that to happen, but I know that's something that the fan base has been talking about. But I believe that the Big South has a plan to fill the holes that they currently have in football. And let me restate that. It's holes that they have in football, but there are 10 other sports that's going on in the Big South, and they currently have, even with the mass exodus that they're having going on, they still have 10 members. They'll be fine.
They'll be fine.
The 10 to 11 members.
Now I heard that the MEAC is looking at Chicago State.
Yeah, Chicago State. Now, let me make sure I say this correctly, because I was corrected last year. They are a predominantly Black institution, not an HBCU in Chicago.
Okay.
They're a PBI. Yes, there's been discussion about Chicago State, and of course, with them having a major airport there in Chicago, it makes it that much, makes it a little bit easier or travel. So all you have to do is do a direct flight to Chicago and do that. So it'll be very interesting to see if that's going to be a move for the MEAC to add Chicago State. But remember, if they won't be adding football that way, it'll just be another basketball institution for the MEAC. So yeah, I'll just be intrigued to see what moves this new staff that they have over at the MEAC does, to see how what direction they go into, see what type of growth or lack thereof that actually happens within this conference, and see whether make the conference viable within the near future.
Got it. Great stuff. Appreciate you sharing that knowledge.
Just one more thing. I want to go ahead and say this, because this is a big one too in terms of historic relevance. Lucia Harris. Are you familiar with that name?
I think wasn't she the first woman to be drafted in the NBA?
Ding, 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 ding. Okay,
gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
So for those that don't know who Lucy Harris, and she's of course affectionately known as Lucia Harris, was actually drafted in the 7th round by the New Orleans Hornets back in 1977.
It was Jazz. Yeah.
The Jazz. I said the Hornets.
We always think about that.
God. That lets you know where my mind is. And I should be old enough to know about the New Orleans Jazz instead of the Hornets.
Right.
But yeah, Lucia, first woman ever to be drafted into the NBA, first woman to actually score a basket in women's basketball, the Olympics.
Right.
Unfortunately, we lost her. She passed away yesterday at the age of...
She was in the late 60s, I think.
66, if my memory serves me correctly.
Right.
So yeah, we just lost her. But the interesting thing, the thing I did not know, was that she was actually looking to go to Alcorn State. At the time, it was Alcorn A&M.
Yes.
But she was looking to go to Alcorn, but they didn't have a women's basketball team. And she would eventually stay in the state of Mississippi and attend Delta State, where, of course, she went on to have a robust basketball career. So much so that the New Orleans Jazz took a chance on her and drafted her in the 7th round. But yet she passed away yesterday.
Yeah, rest in peace to her. Yeah, they had a documentary called The Queen of Basketball, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Named after her. So yeah, it's great stuff there. All right, bro. Let's call it. Again, thank you for blessing us with the HBCU knowledge, as always. Man.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Hey,
go ahead.
Hue Jackson, don't drop the ball.
Don't let us down. We'll clown you.
Don't drop the ball, man, because my God, they're gonna let you have it,
man. Bro. Again, I want to be one of those people at the press conference, be like, nigga, what? Yo, wow. But anyway, we dared to dream. We dared to dream. But thank y'all for tuning in to this podcast. Thank you to Janina Reed for bringing the heat and tennis and all things Australia Open as well. Thanks, my man here for the knowledge, HBCU knowledge. Please check this gentleman out. You see on the backdrop, the yards, HBCU.com. That's for all things HBCU sports. Sleazy Radio every Tuesday on Facebook Live. Also, herosports.com. We rap about all things FCS as pertains to HBCU. Athletics. See the website here, theclowntimes.net. Also get the merch at cafepress.com.
Get that merch.
Exactly. And last but not least, please continue to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. You'll be glad you did. We'll be glad you did. We love interacting with you all, with the listeners. So again, please do those things. So until next time, stay safe, stay warm, please.
Yes.
And we out.
You big dummy.